You've said that behind every successful AI, there are humans that nobody sees. Why?
Yes. And that's us at MyDataMachine. Because when you train a model, when you train an AI model to recognize, for example, stops on the streets or fashion trends on an image that you can recognize, for example, a certain type of dress, AI needs to learn it with humans. So behind each AI, there are some humans, and us at MyDataMachine, that's what we do. We teach AI.
How do you do that? How does walk us through? If there's a human being, how are they going to train AI? Because there is a notion that AI is becoming so good that we might not need a lot of human beings. But you say the contrary, and why do you believe that? How does walk us through the process of how you guys do train AI.
Yeah, so the training of AI has evolved, but of course they are humans human being training AI differently than a few years ago, because yes, AI is getting better and better, but if you want to avoid the black box effect, and if you want to scale your AI model, it means that you would need to have a control, an evaluation, and to teach the artificial intelligence what to do, what not to do. For example, if you install a camera in a store, if you want to recognize who is a client and who is a delivery person, you need to teach AI, this is how a delivery person would look like, this is how a client would look like, and that's the type of example that we do. And a few years ago, we had to teach AI, for example, what's the difference between a cat and a dog, because at that time, AI didn't know that. And right now, we are more and more in an evaluation process, a reinforcement learning with human feedback process. That means that we notice errors thanks to humans. For example, this person is not a client. It's a delivery person who looked like a client a bit, but it's not, because this delivery person has a badge of a delivery person here or something like that. And then you notice the errors and you will teach again the artificial intelligence. So let's say before the AI was a baby, now it's grown into a teenager. But humans, we are learning until we die.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And AI is the same. So we have more and more the need of having humans teaching AI or correcting AI, but we need to be specific in some certain types of domain. We need to build processes with evaluation process. So the job has been evolving, but it's still it's still here. And do you know that one of the top job on LinkedIn is data annotator?
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So basically, a large group of individuals who are sort of experts in their domain, who need to be telling AI what is correct and what is wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
So how does one become a data annotator? What kind of a person is fit to be a data annotator?
So let's take an example. At MyDataMachine, we are working with one of our clients, Huritech. Huritech is a fashion tech company, and for Huritech, we build teams of annotators. And our annotators are fashion designers, or they are fashion experts, able to recognize fashion details that a random human would not recognize. So we have to recruit people who are experts in the right domain. It can be fashion, it can be other things depending on the task to do. I also, for example, if we would work in healthcare, also we would need some doctors, and so it depends.
And does it mean somebody becomes a data annotator as a full-time employee, or how does a doctor, I'm assuming that the doctor has absolutely no time because they're treating patients, talking to patients, and like they also need to upskill themselves on like new research, what's happening. So do you have like similar examples on how do these individuals work, and like in what context do they work with you?
Yeah. So in many domains, we hire full-time persons, and we have full-time positions. For example, in fashion or in retail, we also have full-time positions. So people decide to change a bit their job. They were a fashion designer, and then they realized that they like annotating data in super specific fields. You know, we have people who are passionate about sport and about sportwear, so they work on sportwear images, but they know all the details of the latest Nike running shoe, you know, and I cannot beat them, you know, it's super hard, but it's a passion for them, so yeah. And in health, I know that it's really different because it's more some part-time people, so part-time doctors who have an interest in AI. Maybe they are also experimenting AI application in their own job and they like it. So yeah, it totally depends. At MyDataMachine, we specialize with full-time people mostly. But yeah.
You mentioned about fashion, and I can't help but ask this question. So you had a very unconventional background. So you started with computer science with a specialization in machine learning. Is that correct?
Yeah, I started with mathematics and computer science, and then yeah, specialized in data science and deep learning.
And then you were also a model, fashion model.
Right. I was modeling during my studies, which helped me to discover a totally different environment, a world super far away from computer science and AI. And every day in my modeling job, I was imagining how AI could help us. Just let's take this example as a model. Your picture is being taken at least 1,000 times a day. Each angle of the clothes needs to be covered, and you just think. I mean, at that time I was just thinking, but why not like just digitalize one image and then we could do all the images from that, you know? I remember at the time calling my agent, asking him, do you think that we could just sell my digital avatar and then they can work with it, the shooting, so that I don't have to be there? And at that time, so back in 2018, my agent told me, but Céline, what's this idea, you know?
You were actually like already at the frontiers, I believe.
Sorry?
I think you were already at the frontiers of technology, like when most people were like not even aware of what's happening in tech. You were like pretty much ahead.
Yeah.
And like trying to connect vastly different fields. And is that why at MyDataMachine you guys have built an expertise in like fashion tech and retail tech?
Yeah, in fact, when I started as an entrepreneur, I built an AI solution to generate digital twins from clothes. So the idea was like, as a designer, you can design and draw your clothes, then put them on my solution. At the time, I called the solution EVA engines, and then you can digitalize it on a model and choose whatever you want in terms of texture, in terms of colors. So in fact, we got recognized by LVMH, by Polytechnique, by Andam, so fashion tech ecosystem. And I needed to build a data set with humans, so building some sketches of clothes to teach my AI how to go from a sketch to a digital avatar. So I built this team, MyDataMachine, first to create my data sets to train my AI models for fashion tech applications. So that's why we built the first team in fashion.
Okay.
And then I was doing some demo of my products, and people were telling me, but wow, really cool, but how did you do the data set? It's impossible. And I told them, yeah, in fact, I had to build a team and a company to build the data set. And that's how I got my first clients. They told me, oh, we need the same. We need as well some data set. Can you help us with that? So that's why I had the first clients in fashion tech. So building AI solution for the fashion industry, like Euritech, for example. And then we diversified into other fields that we really like as well. For example, retail. We have been also working on agriculture applications, defense, and other fields.
Super cool. So tell us, how did you diversify? Like once, like, okay, you built something because it was out of your own personal experience, and therefore it was relatively easier for, let's say, an LVMH to trust you, given that you had so much experience in fashion, and on top of that, you were so passionate about it. How did you then diversify into, let's say, retail?
So in fact, while doing some demo of what we do, I got to meet other people, and I got also to work on some use cases for retail. Always not too far from computer vision, always involving computer vision aspects, because in computer vision there is a lot of image, and we have image experts. So image experts can be experts in fashion, but we also have an image expertise that we've been built internally, and we also have been building an expertise to scale teams and scale processes to go from a POC to an MVP to an industrial product. And we have been recruiting teams for retail as well, especially for our retail clients. But the processes expertise that we have been building is there. We also have building the expertise in images. So these are already core components that we also have. And a major thing now is that all the CEOs are talking about these AI projects that don't reach the ROI that was expected, you know. But in fact, a major thing is that how do you go from R&D to industrial applications? And with human-in-the-loop processes and our type of expertise of scaling teams and scaling processes to go from training to evaluation to testing to running modes. It's a lot of steps, and that's core expertise that that our clients can benefit. So step by step, we hire and we add new people to our teams to cover new industries when it comes to computer vision and scaling AI processes.
On a side note, how do you feel so far?
It's going well.
Going well? Okay, cool.
I'm just wondering what we will cut and what we will use.
This part will be cut.
Yeah. And you, how do you feel?
No, I think I'm just asking out of my curiosity. I'm not following a script. I'm like, oh, this is interesting. Let me ask more.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the most natural thing to do. And the reason I asked is there something, is to remind ourselves that if we are taking a completely different tangent, we can do this exercise and then say, hey, how are we feeling? Is there something that you want to talk?
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah, I'm following you.
Okay.
I think it's a good style of direction to speak naturally.
That is true.
Hopefully we can get some interesting parts from that.
Something that I've noticed is that there's a lot of collaboration between France and India. particularly after the AI summit. If I'm sure you must have been following, there have been so many deals and like collaborations that were made official at that summit. And interestingly enough, I think space tech India in India is booming, where there's like a lot of versions that are not as expensive as what NASA would be doing. But how do you see yourself within that ecosystem? Because your co-founder is Indian, right? Tell us a little bit about that. Like, what is it like to be within this new phase of collaboration where people are like, for a very long time talking about, oh, it's either US or China, but then there's like this new third way, and how do you see yourself, and what does it look like for MyDataMachine in order to leverage this sort of collaboration between two countries?
Yes. So, fun fact, I met my co-founder online on Instagram. He was running a meme page on AI, and we started the company during COVID. And during COVID, someone who was just the next door or someone who was in India was in fact at the same distance, because we had to use digital ways to communicate, you know. So I was looking for a designer team to help me to build my fashion design data sets. And I reached out to Ronak, but I reached out to many other people, in fact, based in France or based in the US, because I got as well to live in the US before that. And with Ronak, we made it work, you know. So at the end, I didn't think about, oh, we are going to build an Indo-French company. So we hired people in India, and then our clients were in Europe, in France and Europe as well. So we decided to build the legal entity according to the reality of the field, you know, between India and France. Now, regarding the recent collaborations between France and India, I'm super excited because I definitely think this is a third way. India has great potential, has great companies. Look at Tata. We are in the building of Tata right now, you know, in Paris. Look at LTI Mindtree as well. We are at their office. Look at many startups that are Indian, and in France we have also great opportunities, but we need partners, of course. And as we can run MyDataMachine between India and France, I totally think that for France it's a great thing to have partners. I totally believe as well in the international collaborations, you know, and especially now during this crisis, this latest crisis, we have to reinforce our partnerships. I totally think that international is the way. I mean, we've been doing it for the past years, and I understand that India is open to that as well, this way of helping each other between different countries and collaborating, and yeah, so let's continue like that. And I can also talk about the way that we are collaborating in our day-to-day.
That part, yes, yeah. I was coming to that. So Europe has GDPR regulations, and obviously one of the recurring discussions, especially with partnerships with India, is that their demand to operate at the level of what GDPR regulations are. And how do you navigate that what I think is a tricky process, given that you have an advantage of being an Indo-French company? What is your unfair advantage that you can deliver value to your clients?
So in fact, we are totally aware of the latest GDPR updates and the context on the data part. And the unfair advantage that we have on that is that we've been working to set up agreements that follow the GDPR rules, even outside Europe. So it is possible to follow the GDPR regulation outside of Europe, and that's what we do. Even if we have an entity in France as well, we also cover any importation and exportation of data from Europe to India, from India to Europe, and we follow the regulation so that it's totally okay for our clients. And yeah, and then on the day-to-day basis, working between India and France, in fact, it's been great. There are multiple things that we are complementing each other. Think about the Indian culture of solving problems together, and that's really how I feel. I mean, I discovered many things. I visited India a few times now, and my co-founder also visited France and Europe and many other countries since then, since we started, of course. And it's been a great journey. So every day we have people based in France and people based in India, mostly. And we also run projects that are across multiple countries because we have this unfair advantage of knowing how to make it work with the GDPR regulations. So we have also been deploying people to take pictures at some events in multiple countries, and we are able to adapt to the GDPR regulation wherever the project is being worked.
How is your team spread across France and India? How many people do you have in France, and what does the team in India do? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so in fact, we work with people full-time, and we also work with freelancers, depending on the projects. So currently we have people in 25 countries.
Wow.
Yeah, in Europe, in Asia, and also in the US. We are working with different type of profiles, a lot of photographers around the world, in fact. In France, we have quite a small team. We are less than 10 persons based in France, and full-time less than 5 persons. And we have people to help the clients, and so in the client relationship, customer success. We also have mostly sales team in France, and people are helping on the data science part, which will happen at the beginning of the projects or following regular updates. And in India, we have the major part of the team. We have about 80 persons there in India, and we also have multiple partners that can lead us to more than 100 people, depending on how you count. So yeah.
How do you see the future in terms of the kind of companies that are coming up within the startup space? A big chunk of companies are, so to speak, sort of wrappers or dependent on an LLM provider, and basically meaning that if there's a lot of dependency on LLM providers. So what do you think are like going to be the hardest problems that one should be solving? Like, quote unquote, what are the problems that other people are not seeing?
So AI is super vast.
Yeah.
You have LLM wrappers, you have computer vision applications, core applications. So we are talking about many different things. But more and more in the coming years, companies, if they want to survive, they'll have to develop their AI softwares, their AI bricks, their AI wrappers sometimes, and they will have to adapt to a changing world, and they have to do it fast. We don't have time because AI is evolving so fast, the markets are evolving so fast that if the company, they are not taking the call right now, they will die. That's as simple as that, because the market will change, they will be slower and slower, they will have to pay, they will have costs that will be higher and higher, whereas with AI, they will be able to produce more and to adapt to a new world. In fact, I see it exactly as a mathematical function. In mathematics, you have the departure space and the arrival space. And in between, there is a function.
Okay.
Today, we were in, so we are in 2026. And so yesterday, before AI, we were in, let's say 2020, we were in a certain space. when almost no one was using AI. And now, in 2026, we are at a space when we have this function helping us to go to the future, helping us to go to the space that we will reach with AI. And in this space, we will not be anymore doing the same thing. We will do the same thing with AI. So empowered by this new technology. But we will also be empowered by other things. For example, crypto, blockchain, quantum. So we'll have the opportunity to do way more things in maybe cheaper cost, so faster, and so we will be in a different space. So now the company who are still in 2020, they have to adapt fast using AI to arrive in this space. Otherwise, they will stay in the same space than in 2020, and they will not be able to be as fast as their competitor and as competitive as they should be. So they have no other choice than building this AI solution. To build this AI solution and to adapt to this new world, if they want to keep their domain expertise, they'll have to build a super precise expertise in AI as well. So they have to adapt the AI technologies to their own markets. Sometimes they'll need only an AI wrapper and it's totally fine. But for some use cases, they will need to build specific AI bricks.
Like what?
Like an AI bricks that will recognize if there is a default on the piece they are producing in the manufacturer,
Got it.
Otherwise, they'll have to pay dollars or euros or rupees to have someone checking that. But in the future, they'll have someone being able to check only the errors that have been detected by AI, and it will be super faster. They'll be able to produce way more. So to arrive to this space, we need data to build this, and we need annotations to create AI that are able to adapt to the specific use cases.
So you said something interesting. So there are a lot of companies that are still sort of operating in the past, a reluctance to adapt. How do you convince a lot of these companies through your work? How do you convince them? Like, how do you show the value proposition to these companies and then change their minds to, okay, we really need to adapt and adopt these practices? How do you have to handhold them? Can you walk us through the process of is there an example where you convinced one of your clients who was probably not as AI first or AI savvy, and then you made their lives different now?
So, in fact, it takes time, So back in 2020 or back in 2018, I was trying to sell an AI solution and no one was willing to pay for it because no one saw the need of that. So I had to start a new business in data, and now step by step I see the market evolving, and now people from 2020 that were not convinced are calling me back saying, okay, you were the first one to tell us about AI and their applications. We need you. Because now they have budget to develop AI projects, and they are wondering what's the best ROI they can have in the faster way, because it's a lot of investments to develop an AI solution. So how can they develop some first steps that are rewarding their business the fastest? So we have seen some clients calling us back a few years later saying, oh, okay, now is the time. But I have to say that in France, the government has helped a lot as well, because there are some grants for companies, because the government is also aware that if we want to stay competitive, we have to invest in AI. So there is a whole work of evangelism, I would say.
I believe evangelism is very important, because it's also one of the important, one of the recurring roles that I see in like top AI companies, like take Lovable or Anthropic, like they're still hiring a lot more human beings, because many people thought that, oh, like, so if you train AI to do its job better, then at what point do they, like, many people are kind of afraid that they're no longer going to be useful to the society once they teach AI a lot. If I understand correctly, you're saying that so if all of these data annotators are going to teach AI, at what point do you think that do you think in like 5 years time or 10 years time, do we need more data annotators or less? Are there going to be more edge cases? Like where exactly will data annotators add the highest value?
In specific use cases. So that's the short answer. For example, if you want to recognize default on the manufacturer line, it will be more and more difficult cases where humans will need to teach AI, you know. So let's say, for example, 2 years ago, we would teach the AI to recognize the right color or something quite easy, and then we will recognize the edge cases. In 2 years, we'll recognize only the edge cases. So the work will be evolving, yeah, but we'll still be needing some people, and that's a huge question. Like everyone thinks that if they will teach AI, then AI will not need human anymore. But no, it's like humans. We are learning all our life, so it will be the same for AI. AI will not know everything. I mean, there is always be some new ways to teach AI, and maybe in the future we will program AI that will teach other AI, and that will be the job, you know, of data annotation. It will be creating AI to annotate, and it will be monitoring AI that will annotate or that will help and evaluate the annotations, you know. So the job will be evolving, and we shouldn't be afraid of that, because this will be the new space we are entering. And if we don't enter to this new space, then other people will enter it, you know, and we'll just stay in the past. So yeah,
that is so true. Like I want to evoke this point that most people believe that all the difficult problems have been solved and there is nothing new to be known. That is absolutely not true. Like we still haven't cured cancer in human beings. There are so many new diseases that are yet. I mean, in 2020, nobody knew about COVID, and then human beings are up to the challenge and to solve new challenges. I think we don't know how our brain works yet. There's so much to be done in neuroscience, and I think, in my opinion, one should be using AI to make human beings geniuses, like 10x geniuses or 100x geniuses. And the notion that AI is going to replace, meaning that you're living in a finite world where there's only so much that you can discover, but that is not the case at all.
Right. Yeah. So I would say, don't be afraid of AI that will surpass us, because the job will evolve, and we will need to create a cooperation that will be different. But there are many, many challenges that we can solve. It's not as if it will end by the end of 2027, you know. So by combining our strengths with AI, but also with quantum, with blockchain, we will be able to solve problems and challenges. So that's great. And second thing, don't underestimate the D of R&D.
Yes.
Research and development. And that's why at MyDataMachine we help our clients for this D to industrialize the research. And you know, when you think about R&D in another context, not in IT, not in AI, when you research on, for example, hardware, for example, the glasses, so it's been years that we are working on that, you know, and then we need to test and make and create optimizations, and that's the same with AI. So we need to think about a way of processing the technology so that we can use it in production.
Got it.
But with controlling the risks,
Yeah.
and so we don't have to underestimate the G. Yeah.
On that note, I have a very interesting thing to discuss.
Tell me.
So, Ami Labs that Yann LeCun started has raised $1 billion, and the former CEO of Nabla is joining Ami Labs as the CEO. And basically, it's about world models. And Yann LeCun has been a prominent person saying that LLMs is a dead end. We need world models. We need more context of how the world works, which means more computer vision. Tell us, what do you think about it? And because you've been saying your specialty is like computer vision, what do you think about this?
Yeah, so I've been reading this news too about the world models and this incredible startup that Yann LeCun is building right now, and he stopped working at Facebook to build this company between, and also a very interesting international collaboration, because it will be between Europe, Asia, and the US, right? So I love this idea. Yeah, so LLM is a technology, is one of many AI technology. So it can solve many things, right? But at some point you get limited by its own architecture, because LLMs are doing the same than humans. They are copying us. I mean, when you talk to an LLM, you feel like it's human. People get super excited about that,
Yeah.
but in fact, there are some limits to that. So just think about the physical world. An LLM will see the pixels, but will not see something else than pixels, you know?
That is true.
So by adding new dimensions to the models, for example, world models, they are built differently, so the architecture will involve other inputs. But I also know a startup that builds captors to see the world differently than in pixels, you know. We will add new dimensions and we will be able to solve other problems. Now we have to think about the opportunity and the cost, because there is an opportunity. So I don't know how we can prove that this opportunity will help us to solve physical problems, like maybe autonomous robots, better autonomous robots.
Or surgery.
Or surgery, right? Yeah. Versus the investments. But for sure, if you have new component to the model, like world models, it will help us to solve new problems and totally different problems, for sure. So yeah.
I want to ask you more about your current passions and obsessions within this space. Like, what is one topic that you are sort of obsessed within the whole AI space?
Yeah, computer vision for robotics.
What piqued your interest about computer vision in robotics?
When you look at the latest robots in China, you can see that maybe you can imagine the future.
Oh my
we'll
God,
have
they're
more
like
robots.
operating at a different level.
Sorry?
They're operating at a different level.
Yeah, definitely. So I think there will be a huge growth of the number of robots per human, you know? For now, we have not that many robots at home, or I have a vacuum robot there.
Oh, there's a vacuum robot?
For now, I have one, yeah.
Oh, cool. So there's another one that's kind of, you know, that will be super interesting. There's this company called Interactive Labs. And I think they teamed up with someone from Pixar, because it has like this very Pixar vibe, the robot, and then it sort of interacts. It gives you like these funny reminders and stuff like that, because it's also acts like a study lamp. It has like these two eyes, and then yeah, like it's almost like having like a pet, you know. The only other thing that I could recall is a Richie Mini, because Because I think at this point, it's not just important to like build functional things, but it's, you need to build something that makes human beings feel something. I think that is like the part that artificial intelligence has yet to kind of nail, but it's getting closer.
Imagine with vision and arms, or you can program new things. But yeah, at the same time, when you see Gemini, you're just wondering like, and the apps that are on the that are open source, that's great. You just think like, okay, I'm not gonna just sing songs for children. You know, I have to think about interesting ways to try it and build it in order to help me and find new applications for it. So yeah, that's also an experimentation that I'm super excited about, and that we'll see in the next years. But there are also a lot of use cases that are already super useful.
Right.
For example, cleaning, cooking. Maybe sometimes, okay, we will not cook better than a professional, but we will. It can do the job for some cool meals, you know. So yeah, there are some applications that I'm excited to discover.
So Céline, so if you were to say one thing to like either a startup or a big enterprise, what is one thing that they should be doing in order to level up their game?
So now is the time to start to put a footstep in the future, because if you don't do it now, it's gonna be too late. And having the best partners to set up data of quality and processes to industrialize your AI solution is very key and core to your future. So just take actions on that.
Yeah, and I would like to add one more point to that, is that you can start with experimenting, and the best time to start is like right now. Start experimenting, and then that's the best way to keep up the game.
Yeah, experiment. Don't be afraid of the first step, because it's gonna lead to a full path to the future.
Exactly. It's been a pleasure, Céline. I learned a lot about data annotation. We spoke about world models and yeah, what the future of humanity could be. Thanks, Céline.
We'll continue the conversation very soon. Thank you, Satvik. It was a pleasure.